start the camera and okay, you could begin.
So, good morning everyone. So now I will present about chemistry. So, it's about the mortar. So let's see. So we were identifying an unknown substance. So in the non-substance unit, we did some experiments. So identify the substance, right? So the name of my chemical was sugar, sucrose, and the chemical number and the chemical formula was C278488020. So these, as you see over here, it's equal to this. It's like the formula of the sugar. So let's see. So overview of the project. So in this lab first we observed the physical properties. So I remember Mr. gave us like a little bottle with some substance in there, and then we have to see what we and then we wrote down in the paper what we see and what we think the substance is. So my substance were small, it were white. So I thought was an ionic substance. So for the physical properties, I hypothesized, me and my partner hypothesized that our systems were ionic. So in the overview of the project, so I test when my system was, I test whether my system was metallic, ionic, or covalent by testing the melting point. So I remember we put like a little thing in the table, and then we put what's that? Metallic thing, and then we put our substance in there, and then we put 10 of hot, and then we saw that our substance melt very fast, like in 58 seconds. Sorry. So it was like a minute. So, and then we were starting thinking about another thing. So overview of the project. Then I test the chemical properties of my substance by doing the decomposed sucrose. Does anybody know what's that? Students? Does anyone know?
Anybody knows?
What?
Anyone knows the decomposed sucrose?
Oh yeah, when you put acid, sulfuric, and then it decomposes sugar. It
Yeah.
becomes black.
Yeah, so our compound has low melting point, so which led me believe that about the murder that the person ate a lot of sugar, and then she became crazy, and then maybe she was like this in one of these, and then everything destroys. It's a big imagination. So content and knowledge, number 1. So what did I learn? What did I learn about this? So I learned about the covalent compound by testing melting point and the decomposed sucrose. Detailed explanation of what I learned. I learned about metallic, ionic, and covalent bonds. So, as you see over here, right now we'll talk about metallic bonds. So metallic bonds is an electromagnetic interaction between these localized electrical conditions. So gathered in an electron seal. So and the metallic nuclei within metals. So as you see, this over here, this is metallic bonds. So you see everyone is positive, right? So positive, so this all is positive, which means that it doesn't melt pretty fast because have just positive bonds. So metals donate electrons Uh, so they do not stay by one atom. So properties of metals is 10 form positive ions. So this is positive ions. So it's a good conductor of energy. It's shiny, has high density, is high melting point, and measurable and conductive. So over here are the ionic bonds. So it's a type of chemical bonds that involves a metal and non-metal ion. Is formed by negative charge. So as you see, this has positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive. So it goes like this don't have just like this one that have just positive. This one has negative and positive. So this is the ionic one. So as you see, somebody's told me that the ionic and the metal is similar, but I say no because the ionic have negatives and positives, but the metallic just have positive. So the metal never melt, and these have a probability that melt. Okay, so metals donate electrons to non-metals that accept electrons. The properties of the ionic compound has high melting point, dissolving water, crystalline, solid, at room temperature. So it conducts electricity, and when dissolved in water, high density. So this you can have a hot water, and then you put this in the water, and then you mix them. So that's the way that can melt for the high density, you know. So and these ones are covalent ones. So the chemical bonds that involves charging electrons paired between atoms, they are formed by charging of electrons. Covalent receives negative electron. So the covalent bonds, this all negative. Like let's show you right here. All these things are negative, negative, negative. All the positive that you see in the other one, in this one, I'm sorry I couldn't find a picture like the other to show you. But this, it's negative, all negative. So it melts pretty fast. So the properties of the covalent is low melting point, does not dissolve in water, it's a bad conductor, and dull. So over here in this picture, I will tell you like a little bit more specific. So where's metal? So metal, let's see, metallic. I will use it by metal. So metal donates non-metal. So like suppose these donate to this or this. Because this when it produces non-metal, so this donates, this receives. So covalent, covalent receive from this and from this, just negative charge, like negative bonds. So that's why this is negative. And this receives, and that's negative and positive. As you see, these both are yellow, so it means this doesn't melt, and it's just positive charge. This has blue and yellow, so the yellow means positive, and this means negative. So this is both, like I told you before. And these are just blue. With the blue means that it's negative. So, just like that. I hope you understand. So, in this, content of knowledge number 1. So, how did I learn it? The process I did to learn about this is do experiments. For example, like I told you before, I do the melting point and the discomposed sucrose. I applied this to the investigation because I found that my compound was sugar, so I said that the person ate a lot of sugar, they were crazy, and then crazy. They were crazy. So, how does this impact on my life and the world around me? So I applied this to my life because it helped me think that sugar can do many different things. Like some people just think that sugar just can help you like make your drink a little sweet, and then for cakes, and then for this, and for dollars, for at all, and then for things like that. But if you put the acid, so you will see next what happened. So yeah.
Ricardo, please come to the office. Ricardo, please come to the office.
So how this impacts on my learning about in chemistry. So I applied this to my chemistry learning because this has helped me know more about chemicals and how they work. So this helped me learn more because there are many different types of chemicals that can be destructibles and can explode, or maybe they can eat your skin. So content is knowledge too. What did I learn about this? So I learned about chemical physical properties by doing enter questions in my class with my classmate and the teacher. So in the enter questions, I remember we just go to the room and then we got our binders and then we start writing the enter question, right? So when we do the enter question, I learned the physical properties, like, let me see. Like this. I remember we started do this for us to learn about it. She said, so CCOHH, so this is negative, this is positive, and then blah, 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 and things like that. So that's how I learned it. Where's it? So that's the way I learned what was my substance and what for what you can use it, for which things you can use it. So how do I learn it? How do I apply it? So before we did the experiments, we had to see the substance and write what we look, how we see it, and things like that, right? So I applied this to my investigation by thinking that you use the chemicals in sugar. Like, it's many connections. Like, I don't have just one idea about the murder, so I have like a lot of ideas. Or so maybe she saw the chemical and then she put it in sugar, and then she was not safe to do it. She don't have gloves or long leaves or like things like that. So then she just grabbed it and maybe she drank it or put it on the sugar, things like that. You never know what happened. So how can I use this to my life? So for the real work, we can use this substance to make food sweet, like I told you before, and things like that. Like when I say things like that, it's like you can think about in whatever way that you can use the sugar. So that means things like that. So something that I didn't know about sugar is that when you use sulfuric acid and sugar, it becomes carbon. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So
We're in the demo lab with Lonnie,
let's
where he's going to mix cane sugar and sulfuric acid. So sugar
Where
is
is
a carbon
Yeah,
compound.
yeah.
Sulfuric acid
It's hard.
is
okay. Okay. So right now we're going to see. So right now we're going to see how sugar becomes with the sulfuric acid. So we'll turn off the light, Mister.
I got it.
Please. What's I know? No mami, ese.
No, para hacerlo grande.
No, yo sé, pero no le voy a enseñar todo el video.
Can you see it? Oh, yeah, good idea.
So, right there. So I will let you hear and see. So, not much talking.
Let's watch as Lonnie mixes these two compounds.
Alright, yeah, we'll talk. So, so you see the thing that you put, that with the sulfuric acid over here. This is the sugar and this is the sulfuric acid. And now you will see the reaction. I will not talk, okay? Okay.
Here's the sulfuric acid being
So he's mixing
with
it.
the sugar, forming a slurry. You can see the reaction beginning. Lonnie will add a little bit more sulfuric acid. And you can already see black carbon beginning to form. This reaction is fairly exothermic, so it will proceed with the expansion of the forming carbon to form a rapid expansion of a long snake of black carbon. Let's watch that happen.
So that's the sugar and the sulfuric acid. Look.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Oh.
There we have the formation of elemental carbon by the dehydration of sugar with sulfuric acid.
So, okay. So right here, no, turn it off. It's just for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to explain something. So over here you see, like, it's the normal sugar that normal people use, right?
Yep.
So I think you have this sugar in your house. So, and this is the sulfuric acid. Just a little bit of sugar that he put over here, and then he put just a little bit of sulfuric acid over here, and then he mixed it, and then it's become this bigger, and this is hot. In the moment that it's growing, it's pretty hot. We can see the smoke, but when we do the experiment, we see like a lot of smoke going around. So it's become this bigger. So alright. Thank you. So that's what I did. In the class. So just showing you what I did, what was my experiment. And the other one, I didn't put a picture. It's okay. So, what did I learn to do? Okay. I learned to analyze data and infer chemicals name and formula of the system by thinking critically. So this connects to the murder because we take data and after we think and we predict how the crime happened. So I explain you how to analyze data. So I remember when we do every experiment that we do in chemistry class, we take data, and then we write it down in the papers, and then we think, oh, so if I put these, like for example, we did the melting point, right? And then when Mr. told us that we need to do the sulfuric acid and the sugar, so we regarding me, so regarding my partner. So we start thinking. So maybe it melts, or maybe and then, but we think things like normal things, but we never thought that our system will become carbon with the sulfuric acid. So how this skill be applied to my life? So I can use this skill in my life because I know I can be more careful in the future. I can be more careful and help my brothers. You see my little brothers, they were become to 11th grade, so maybe they have to do this type of experiments, or maybe more different. So, or other students that you see 10 and 9th graders that going to become to 11th grade. So maybe they want to understand and I can help them. So, how can I use this skill be applied to make me a better student? So this skill can be used to help me understanding chemistry, because in chemistry you have to pay attention on what you are doing. So, and be very careful with the data, because when you take data, when you're doing the experiment and you need to take data, you have to be like, oh, in 30 seconds, and you have to write it, and then, oh, this happened, so you have to take data right in a minute, because if you do the experiment, if you didn't take data, and then after you will be like, what did I do? So you have to be very careful in the data. So this can be used in other classes, like the other classes, English, history, math. This can be used in those classes because it's the same. You have to pay attention to what the teacher is saying. Like, for example, if Mr. Paul come and give me a packet and he is explaining, but I didn't pay attention to what he said to me, so I wouldn't know, after I wouldn't know what I need to do in the packet, you know? So, be careful, guys. Careful. So, what did I learn to do? So, I learned to create visual presentation by doing the chemistry presentation about our compound and how those is connected to the mortar. So we did presentations to the class. I just put a little picture. So we did presentation like this, but we just say like, oh, this like this, and like we talk about things that you wanna understand right now. So how can I use this to be a better student? I said this wrong. I don't know. So how can this skill be applied to my life? An example of how I can use this skill in my life is that while I study, I had to do presentations. You know, I was in 12th grade. I will be in 12th grade. I need to do presentation about, I don't know, and then so in college or maybe in your work, in my work, I need to do presentation about what I want and things like that. You know, so doing presentation, it will help me a lot in my life. So, what is an English skill that I improved by doing this project? So, I improved verbally giving presentations by presenting about to my teachers, what my partner and me did and what we learned. So, like I told you before, it's like the same thing. We give the presentation to my classmates, and then we explain what we do. So everybody do that. So, yeah. How will this help me in my life and other classes to learn more? So being able to speak like out loud, like without shy, like being like, I don't know. and what I did in chemistry will help me in my first year, because I want to help other students understand and what we are doing. Also, as a student, now I can do this type of experiments. Like now I know more about this, so I'm more able to do it, right? To do presentations or help others, or things like that. So, what is an English skill that I improved by doing this project? So I improved my English. I saw it last time when I do the presentation. So I learned a lot of new words. And because I ask a lot of questions to Miss Star, I think I drive her crazy. And I speak a lot of English with my classmates while we were doing the experiments and the data and all the things. So I have to speak English with my classmates. So how would this help me in my life? In my life classes then? So in conclusion, so this semester in chemistry have changed me because I thought the sugar just can be used to make food sweet. But now I learned that if you use some chemicals, sugar can become another things. Can become carbon, for example, and it melt very fast and all the. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gabby. We had so much information that I don't think we have time for questions because we have the next student need to go. We have time?
Mine is short.
Yours is short? Okay. We can do a short, like maybe very short part for questions. Okay.
Can you give us the paper?
Oh, sorry, yes. Yes, let me help you. Give you the paper. Okay. So here's the chemistry questions. I can give you some more to look at here. Chemistry questions. Here. Some chemistry questions here. Go on to look.
Any box?
Okay, let's make it quick though. We need to go.
It's an yeah.
If you were to do further testing, what would you test in your filter?
On the substance.
Yeah. If you were to do further testing on chemicals and your substance, what would you test next?
So right now I don't know lots of chemicals that I can use for my substance. So now I just know about the melting point and the sulfuric acid. So maybe I should ask Miss Tarian, because not all the chemicals can be used for sugar, you know. So maybe it can be a disaster. I should explore the old school, you know. So I don't know what I will test next.
Was your hypothesis support your result?
How do my hypothesis?
Was your hypothesis support to
Yeah. Was your hypothesis supported by your results? Is that what we said? Like when you did the test, was your hypothesis true or not true?
So no. In both experiments, my hypothesis was not true, because in the first one I hypothesized that my sister were ionic, so it will not melt very fast, right? But when I did this, the melting point, so it melts like right away, and I didn't hypothesize nothing for this compulsory cross, because I wasn't in class. I was doing another thing. So, but my partner hypothesis he said that